That's the most rotten piece of seafood I've ever eaten, and that's saying a lot.
Andrew Zimmern has eaten some of the most strange and bizarre foods around. Today, we're looking at 10 foods Andrew Zimmern just couldn't eat. Giant sea squirts.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
The gigantic sea squirts of Chile, known as puré, are what Andrew Zimmern despises the most. But not all sea squirts. Untrained eyes might mistake these weird marine critters for rocks, but they're actually loaded with brilliant red flesh. One must use a hard, sharp knife to slash through the tough surface to reach the fleshy portion inside.
That's a knife.
It's just not worth the hassle, according to Zimmern. The bizarre food star humorously compares the flavor of the giant sea squirts to that of an iodine pus bag dipped into a fish's rear end. Yeah, that does not sound yummy. Vanadium, a rare metallic element, is what gives it its characteristic iodine flavor. You can eat this unusual marine critter cooked, sautéed in soups and stews, or even raw. For his part, Zimmern would much rather eat the tiny sea squirts he's had in Japan and Korea, which seem to taste much better. Bamboo rat.
You know what that is? That's teeny weeny little rat tenderloin.
Many people in Asia eat bamboo rats. In one season of Bizarre Foods, when visiting northern Thailand, Andrew Zimmern felt compelled to give this a try. He went to a roadside jungle market to buy country Thai cuisine. He came upon a bamboo rat, which was plastic wrapped. Because the entire animal from ears to tail had been preserved, it looked pretty horrifying. But when a local chef spritzed some salt on it, rammed a stick through it, and grilled it, Andrew was willing to eat it. Until Zimmern cut open the rat and the fragrance of its intestines permeated the marketplace, that is. Yeah, it's safe to say that Andrew would never eat this food again. Hamburgers in China.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Andrew Zimmern is enthusiastic about experiencing diverse cultures in the most genuine way possible. He's made his living by touring the world and trying every variety of food conceivable. In an online interview, he describes how he once overheard guests at a hotel in Beijing talking about the burger and fries from the Hard Rock Cafe. It serves as an illustration of the fundamental problem he has with Western tourists, their unwillingness to venture outside of their preferred cuisine. Although it may sound simple, you don't go to China to eat a hamburger. Consuming Chinese cuisine such as crisp Peking duck and baozi is a must when visiting China. Eating a hamburger in China is not a genuine Chinese experience.
Chinese food, no soul food here.
And it's also not what Americans in the United States would consider to be a hamburger. He confirms that it is a double letdown, which in the end will just leave you homesick. If Zimmern wants to convey anything to his audience, it's that while learning about other cultures might be difficult, doing it through food is well worth it. Hakari.
If rotted shark meat is an Icelandic initiation, I think I've passed the test.
Shark that has been fermented has a strong odor that is reminiscent of several cleaning solutions, and it's also loaded with ammonia. Hakari is often served on toothpicks in small bite-sized cubes. Due to the high ammonia level, those who have never eaten it before may unintentionally gag on their first attempt. When eating the first mouthful, beginners are frequently instructed to plug their nose because the stench is considerably greater than the flavor. It's frequently consumed with a shot of the Icelandic regional alcohol known as Brennivin. There are two types of Hakari, a chewy reddish Glerhakarl, also known as a glassy shark, and a soft white Skyrhakarl, also known as a skyr shark. This is one of Iceland's most traditional meals. Cutting the shark are the main steps in preparing the meal. The pieces are then hung like meat carcasses and given time to ferment, roughly 4 or 5 months. After having to try the shark, Zimmern said he didn't like it at all. He even admits that it was one of the worst things he'd ever eaten.
That smell reminds me of some of the most horrific things I've ever breathed in my life.
And he'd prefer not to try the meal again because Hakari truly stinks up the place. Dog meat.
Unacceptable!
Vietnamese speakers also refer to dog meat as ta cha. Some Asian countries, including China, South Korea, and Vietnam, still engage in the old customs of eating dog meat. To demonstrate the extent of this activity in Vietnam, according to research on dog and cat meat trafficking in Southeast Asian nations, nearly 5 million dogs are killed for their meat each year. Although the statistics show that Vietnam is the second largest eater of dog meat, it's crucial to remember that this practice practice is only widespread among a small portion of the population. The majority of Westerners find eating dog to be very abhorrent. Dogs are our most loved pets, and over half of all American families have at least one dog. Many people regard these adorable animals to be members of their family. But not all cultures share the same perspective on animals. Cows are revered in India, although many Americans often consume some sort of beef on the daily.
Do you know at the Mumbai McDonald's you can't get a Big Mac? All you can get is the chicken Maharaja Mac.
Certain Asian countries are mostly the only ones that still consume dog meat. Andrew Zimmern has eaten dog twice in Vietnam because he always keeps his tongue and mind open when traveling the world. But in the end, he really wasn't a fan of eating dog meat. Fermented chicken intestines.
Just a taste. Chicken.
Many of Andrew Zimmern's dislikes appear to revolve around stale food. However, who could really blame him?
Fair enough.
While he occasionally uses the word rotten to describe undesirable fermented foods, it is unquestionably the appropriate term when it comes to eating chicken intestines in the Philippines. He's tweeted in the past about how much he likes properly cooked intestines, so it's not the intestines that scared him away. The particular bird innards he was given exhibited strange discolorations, and the sight caused him to really worry for his health. Zimmern claims that he has very seldom turned down meals, and that this was only out of concern that he would actually wind up in the hospital if he ate it. No one can blame him for not wanting to eat something that may end up making him sick. Hongeo.
Raw fish? You don't even like raw carrots.
Cartilaginous fish known as skatefish, or Hongeo, expel uric acid through their skin, as opposed to urinating like other animals do. Ammonia is created when they ferment the fish, helping to preserve the flesh and giving the fish its characteristic potent smell. Long before refrigeration was developed, Korean fishermen observed the natural preserving effect of the fermentation process on skatefish as early as the 14th century. Skatefish were discovered to be the only fish that could be moved over great distances or kept for lengthy periods of time without going bad, even with the absence of salt.
Game changer.
Hueksando, an island off the southwest coast of Korea, is where the skatefish were originally used to make Hongeo. In recent years, there's been an increase in the use of cheaper imported fish, primarily from Chile. Despite this, Hueksando Hongeo continues to be known for its exceptional quality. As the usage of refrigeration increased, the dish began to wane in popularity in the modern era. Mokpo, a southern port city in Korea, is known for its bitter fish dish, which even a majority of Koreans find repulsive. Unsurprisingly, the taste and fragrance make it difficult for guests to swallow. Andrew Zimmern passes over the word fermented in an interview about the food and instead uses the adjective rotten. He was not impressed by the strong flavor and fragrance of ammonia. However, many locals appreciate this peculiar fish dish more for its mouth-stinging sensation than for its fragrant qualities. Aged Stinky Tofu.
Stinky tofu. Here goes.
In contrast to cheese, stinky tofu doesn't have a set method for its fermentation process. There are significant regional and personal variations in production and preparation. Making a brine from fermented milk, vegetables, and pork is the traditional way to make stinky tofu. Other ingredients could include dehydrated shrimp, amaranth greens, bamboo shoots, mustard greens, and Chinese herbs. It may take several months for the brine to ferment. Faster techniques are frequently used in modern factories to mass-produce stinky tofu, though. Particularly for fried or boiled dishes, fresh tofu is merely marinated in a prepared brine for 1 or 2 days. Rather than allowing the tofu to entirely ferment, the method only intensifies the stink. In addition to being frequently served with soy sauce or chili sauce, stinky tofu can be enjoyed cold, steamed, stewed, or, more frequently, deep fried. From fried golden Zhejiang style to a strange-looking black-colored Hunan style, the hue varies wildly. The scent of stinky tofu is believed to smell like rotting garbage or nasty feet from a distance. It's been compared to the flavor of blue cheese by some individuals and decaying flesh by others. It's believed that the stronger the aroma, the greater the flavor.
Smells like opportunity.
It may sound rude to refer to this fermented tofu from Taiwan as stinky tofu, but that is exactly what it's called in Chinese. Taiwanese citizens take great pride in their renowned pungent street cuisine. Andrew spoke of the stinky tofu as having a similar smell to that of a durian, and he did not enjoy durian at all. Durian.
That's a dangerous fruit.
It's like a weapon, that thing.
While liked in Southeast Asia, durian is a distinctive tropical fruit that locals refer to as the king of fruits.
The first bite, you're kind of like, I'm not sure I like this. And then the second one, it's amazing.
More vitamins and minerals are present in durian than in most other fruits around the world. But its overpowering odor also contributes to its poor reputation. The huge size and spiky, hard outer shell of the tropical fruit known as durian serves to differentiate it from all other fruit. There are various types, but Durio zibethinus is the most prevalent. Durian is a tropical fruit that grows all over the world, but it's most popular in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, which are all in Southeast Asia. Perhaps the most infamous fruit in the world, its intense, nearly intolerable fragrance makes it easily recognizable. Due to its offensive odor, durian is strictly prohibited on public transport in Singapore and in many other Asian countries. Zimmern compared the smell to that of rotting onions, trash, and soiled socks in one of his blog posts. The Bizarre Foods host tried the fruit a whopping 15 times, but never developed a taste for it. The smell of durian fruit prevents many people from ever even trying to eat it, but Zimmern claims that the flavor of the fleshy yellow inside is also just as unpleasant. However, there are many fruit lovers around the world that appreciate the fruit's creamy texture and sweet, rich flavor, but Zimmern is not one of them. Surstromming.
Wow. Holy moly. So this just goes in there raw.
Surstromming, a fish that is endemic to Sweden that is usually served as a fermented sea creature in a can, is not something that Zimmern will eat. This dish smells awful, which is probably the reason why. Everyone on the set had to shield their noses as Andrew opened the can. During his travels to Stockholm, Zimmern learned about the Surstromming. According to Andrew, the scent is equivalent to the worst dumpster slime you could possibly fathom, with a little mermaid fragrance tossed in as well. Many challenge videos featuring Surstromming have been posted to YouTube and other social media platforms. In these videos, people who are unfamiliar with the food demonstrate how to open a can for the first time, usually with a visceral reaction, and then attempt to eat the fish without additional preparation. It's received notoriety as one of the world's stinkiest meals.
The worst kind.
The participants are frequently seen choking, cursing, clutching their noses, or vomiting in the recordings. The videos have drawn criticism for deviating from the traditional preparation techniques, which involve opening the can outside or underwater, gutting the fish, removing the spine, and serving with tunnbrod and other fixings to create a Surstromming sklama. Surstromming currently includes greater amounts of dioxins and PCBs than allowed in the EU, since it's prepared from herring from the Baltic Sea. From 2002 until 2011, Sweden was given an exception to these restrictions, and a fresh application was made to extend those exclusions. Producers have stated that if the application is rejected, they will only be permitted to utilize herring with lower toxicity levels, which will reduce the amount of herring that's available. This may be good news to some people that despise the smell of the fermented fish. For Swedes, this dish is quite the delicacy and even has its own special day. The third Thursday in August is known as Surstromming Day. Because of the pungent fragrance, it's generally eaten outside. In order to stop escaping gas from spraying brine, the pressurized can is frequently first pierced while submerged in a bucket of water or after being tapped and angled upward at a 45-degree angle. It seems that tastes really do vary across the globe, and some foods that may be disgusting to some are a true delicacy to others. Thanks for sticking around. We've got more videos just for you. So stay right here and check one out.